We have Oscar Wendel, a senior manager at Dubai World Trade Center. Thank you so much, guys, to be here with us.
I mean, it is quite astonishing that you could have the fall of Celsius, FTX, and Luna and not hold anyone accountable. No one's gone to jail yet. And you have to ask the question then, why would you want to decentralize such systems, or even when it comes to social networks? If you can hide your identity, Web3 does not mean that every identity is traceable. It means that every transaction and every movement in the Web3 system is traceable. But you can be anonymous. Why would you want that necessarily in systems where you have consequences for the private individuals? I mean, what is the role of the state if not to protect its citizens?
For a digital asset service provider, be a little more complex to be supervised by the local financial authority. Those authorities will require much more efforts to be registered, but once they will passport it in many jurisdictions and under very specific rules that are with a high threshold of protection.
Thank you so much. Do you want to react?
So what I'm hearing from you is that crypto will benefit from being more regulated and monitored with international harmonization. That's great. So what is it about Web3 that makes it more beneficial to the banking system and reinventing transactions globally from the existing banking system? Then what is it exactly about Web3 in and of itself that is the advantage? If you still have to regulate it and monitor it, and it makes it much more complicated to do so, seeing that it is shadow banking of sorts.
But Celsius, FTX was Web 2. It was centralized entity. It was not Web 3, basically. People were giving them their token, but there is other decentralized platform on blockchain that are Web 3 and that haven't scammed. So
I mean, but let's address that then. I mean, when you look at FTX, they claim to have the tokens and the assets on their exchange. There was nothing there, and then they ask why was nobody prosecuted. It fell between the chairs. Everybody got confused. That's the number one rule of any con man. You confuse, right? And I think with Web3, when there is no clear accountability, you create a lot of opportunity for a lot of problems. So I think that to have a productive discussion, let's talk about what is it about Web3 that is the opportunity to be more ethical.
That the education part it's very important, and that's the thing that we are also lagging behind. For every emerging technology, we have that in AI, we have that in also blockchain. So that's the awareness of it. It's I think important, and then regulation.
It's beyond the point. I mean, if you compare Bernie Madoff, that claimed to have invested assets with billions of dollars, there were no assets. It was a Ponzi scheme. FTX is no different. They collected a lot of money. The assets were not there. It's not of relevance if it's Web 2 or Web 3. It has nothing to do with it. Money was collected on false premises. So I don't know. Explain to me, what is it that's centralized as it pertains to Web 2 and Web 3? I'm really curious because I hear this all the time as an excuse for FTX not being relevant to Web 2 and it's not relevant to Web 3. Yes, that's true. It's not relevant to technology whatsoever, other than that it's confusing the regulators to the extent that they don't know who's looking after, who's to be held accountable.
Oscar, what is your definition of ethics in Web3?
Well, to begin with, ethics, as you said, right and what's wrong. It's very rare that people do not know what's right and what's wrong. What we've seen with Web3 is that it has become a tool for a lot of scam artists and confusing people as to how you get yields on staking or what is the underlying value of a coin, constantly questioning what value exactly is being brought to the table here. I think blockchain and Web3 is very susceptible to a cultish mentality where you think that there's going to be value sometime in the future. You're not going to be able to build an industry based on that. At some point, you need to deliver.
Thank you so much. I think our time is actually up. So I would like to thank Loic, Oscar, Margot, and everyone here. And
Mujan.
thank you so much.
Thank you, Mujan.
Thank you.